If you like a loud YouTuber, then this is the place for you. Gamer boys, it's time to dab in the comments.
I've got some bad news for you, so you might want to sit down whilst I tell you this, but Simpsons Hit Run 2 and Simpsons Game 2 will never ever come out. Especially Simpsons Hit and Run 2, that will never ever come out. I know you're upset, I know you're crying right now, but I'm going to explain in this video why these two games will never ever come out. So without further ado, I will shut the hell up and let's just jump right into it.
Let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into it.
So the Simpsons game, the original Simpsons Hit and Run, was published by Vinvidi Games, and it was developed by Radical. So Radical were the developers behind Simpsons Hit and Run, and the publishers behind it were Vinvidi Games. Now in 2012, Radical was defunct. It was shut down. So I'm going to read a quote explaining this. On the 28th of June 2012, Activision announced that Radical Entertainment had seen a significant reduction in staff and that the studio will cease development of its own games going forward, prompting media speculation that the developer had closed. The publisher cited Prototype's 2 failure to find a broad commercial audience as the reason behind Radical's closure. According to Activision, some employees will remain working for Radical Entertainment, supporting other existing Activision publishing projects. Thus, while keeping the studio active, leaves them as a support team. So this basically means due to the Prototype not having the commercial success Activision had hoped it would have, Activision stated that this was the reason Radical was shut down, was closed, because it didn't gain the commercial success it had hoped. Therefore, it didn't bring in the money that they had hoped, and they probably took a loss in developing this game. Therefore, in 2012, Radical Entertainment was closed down. Now this rules out any chance of a remaster for Xbox One or PS4 of Simpsons Hit and Run, as the original developers are no longer around. However, this doesn't rule out a sequel, because we've seen this before. Let's take Dead Island 2 for example. Announced in 2014, it was originally going to be developed by Techland, then it moved hands to Jaeger, then it moved hands to Sumo Digital, and now it's moved hands again to Dambuster Studios. So I've made videos about this as well, so check them out. Just a cheeky little plug I thought I had in there. So it's not unusual for publishers to switch developers to make a sequel. However, there is some more bad news. However, the publisher behind Simpsons Hit and Run, Vinvidi Games, was shut down on the 10th of July 2008. So they were shut down before the developers of the game. So I'm going to read another quote explaining this. In December 2007, American publisher Activision announced a proposed merger deal with Vinvidi Games that will create a new holding company named Activision Blizzard. The deal was approved by Activision shareholders on July 8, 2008, and the merger was finalized on July 10th, creating Activision Blizzard. Why did I say Blizzard then Blizzard in one? I don't get that. While dissolving Vinvidi Games, Bruce Hack, who served as chief executive, oh my god. You know what, skip that quote. Basically what happened was Vinvidi Games was shut down on 10th of July 2008. That's all you need to know. Jesus, I messed that quote up. I'm going to read the bottom of the quote. I'm going to try again, but read the bottom of the quote. Many of Vinvidi Games' properties were later dropped by Activision, citing that they would not make for a good fit for the company's long-term strategy. So some of the properties that Vinvidi Games own are Simpsons Hit and Run, and maybe that's one of the games that Activision dropped and said, nah, that's not going to work for long-term in bringing long-term income, which is a correct move, because Simpsons Hit and Run doesn't bring in the same income as maybe a new game that's just released. It's a fact. It just doesn't bring the income in. So maybe one of them games was Simpsons Hit and Run that they dropped and no longer are serving with them. So this rules out any chance of a direct sequel for Simpsons Hit and Run. So Simpsons Hit and Run Remaster or a sequel to Simpsons Hit and Run are very unlikely at this point, because the developers have shut down and also the publishers of the original Simpsons Hit and Run are both shut down, which is devastating. So now let's talk about the Simpsons game and the possibility of Simpsons Game 2.
30%.
Now, the Simpsons game was released on the 30th of October 2007. It was published by EA and developed by Visceral Games. I believe that's how you say it. Now, if you don't know who Visceral Games are, they're a big boy company. They're a big boy developer, you know. They don't play games. Well, technically they do. Technically they do play games, but these were the developers behind Dead Space 1, Dead Space 2, Dead Space 3, and as well as Battlefield Hardline. Many people hate Battlefield Hardline. Unpopular opinion, it's better than Battlefield 1. That is a very unpopular opinion, but it's true.
Watch this. Dislike. How dare you say that Battlefield 1 is worse than Battlefield Hardline? Oh my god, unsubscribes.
I know you hate me for that comment. But back on track, Visceral Games was shut down on the 17th of October 2017. Now, this probably came after the cancellation of Dead Space 4, but this rules out a remastered version for the Simpsons game, as the developers behind it are no longer with us. They're not dead, but the company's closed down. I made that seem like they're all passed away, but yeah, it rules out a remastered version for the Simpsons Game 2, or Simpsons Game, sorry, because the original developers behind it are no longer with us, they're not here, and the company got closed down. But there's still hope for a sequel because EA haven't closed down, right? Right? No. EA cancelled Simpsons Game 2. They cancelled it. As they decided to develop the Simpsons Tap Out. They just thought, you know, that Simpsons Game 2? Nah, scrap it, bro. Let's make the Simpsons Tapped Out, sorry. And that was the best decision it made. Now, I know you're gonna kill me for saying that, and I know I can't speak, but the Simpsons Game 2 would not bring anywhere close to the income and the revenue that the Simpsons Tapped Out brought. The Simpsons Tapped Out makes bank, absolute bank. Like, they make so much money off the Simpsons Tapped Out that they make Richie Rich look homeless. They make so much money it would make Mr. Burns cry. You know, that's how much money they pull in from that. So it was a smart decision from EA to say, nah, we're not doing the Simpsons Game 2, we'll cancel it and we'll make the Simpsons Tapped Out instead. Plus, it's easier to make an app, like a app game, than it is to make a console game. It's just a lot easier. It's easier to make a mobile game than it is to make a console game. It's a lot cheaper, it's a lot easier, so it's a smart decision on EA's end. So at this point in the current day and age, there's no real reason to return to making a console game, as it would cost more money to make, and it cannot be monetized like a mobile game with microtransactions and constant updates, because you can release the Simpsons Game 2 and be like, there it is, but then it's gonna have a spike where it sells a lot, and then it's gonna dip, and then it's gradually gonna dip, and it's never gonna go up again, is it? But with a game like the Simpsons Tapped Out, which is a mobile game that they can add more microtransactions and constant updates, the revenue and the money that they can earn from it can keep going up and up. Tapped Out is a lot more evergreen than any Simpsons console game, and that's fact, because they can add all these free updates and continuously update the games, whilst with console games it's a lot harder to continuously update the game, and plus, let alone make it free content. They would have to release DLC, where you would have to pay a certain price for it, but with Tapped Out they can just continuously release updates, free updates, and just include more microtransactions. So it's a lot easier to make a mobile game than it is to make a console game. So I believe that's why EA made the switch from console to mobile, and that's why they're sticking to the mobile scene, and that's why they developed the Simpsons Tapped Out, and that's why they're not going back to Simpsons Game 2. So to conclude, let's go to the conclusion. To conclude, the Simpsons Hit Run 2 will never come out. It's very unlikely that will come out. I can't see it at all coming out because the developers are closed down, plus the publishers have closed down. The Simpsons Game 2 is very unlikely to come out as the developers behind it have closed down, but the publishers, EA, are focused on making the Simpsons Tapped Out and they're continuously updating that, so I do not see them returning to a console game anymore. And Simpsons console game has run the course. It was an era that everyone loved and enjoyed, but it's over now. It's mobile games now that's taken over the world, so that's why I believe Simpsons Hit and Run 2 and the Simpsons Game 2 will never come out. So thank you all for watching this video. Comment down below what you think about this news. What do you think? Do you ever think there'll be a Simpsons Hit and Run 2 or a Simpsons Game 2? I don't believe there will be, and I'm just being real with you. Don't lie to yourself. Don't be delusional. Be honest with yourself. Do you believe there will ever be a sequel to these games? Thank you all for watching. I'll be THEAR. Put THEAR inside your heart. If you liked the video, you liked it. If you didn't, you didn't. It's as simple as that. Till next time, I'll be THEAR. Put THEAR inside your heart. We are represented, baby. Baby. Oh.